In his article, Television Formats in Contemporary Sport, Tony Sciarratto explains how, over the years, productions of sporting events, news, and analysis has shifted to fully accommodate the layman viewer. Every year, sports media tends to care less and less about what the connoisseur fan wants from their sports television. Today we will argue that the emphasis on attracting the layman fan isn't limited to just sports. Other types of television, such as news broadcasts, sitcoms, advertising, and reality TV, are all making bringing in a layman audience their priority. Before we dive deeper into other examples of television programs and evidence, let's take a closer look at Tony Sciarratto's article. Sciarratto begins the article by discussing the connection between television formats and sports. He states, at a basic level, and by way of exemplification, the simple division of sport into live and studio-based formats, a development that has only become commonplace over the last 50 years, constitutes a significant extension of the field, producing and requiring new forms of analysis, knowledge, discourses, categories of expertise, modes of address, and technologies of mediation. This quote describes the foundation for what we know as modern sports coverage. Later in his article, Sciarratto gives examples of the types of things he believes exhibit the appeal to the layman audience. In this quote, he describes how advertising has changed in order to reel in new viewers. The upcoming game will be advertised to saturation level, at least a week before the event takes place, usually by emphasizing the significance of the game, which may be predicated on standings, the battle for first place, the quality of the participants, two undefeated teams, or the status, achievements, and rivalries of some of the protagonists. Randy Moss and Terrell Owens go head-to-head. Brett Favre is poised to break Dan Marino's touchdown record. Sciarratto also describes the sights and sounds of these advertisements. He uses examples of fast music, hard hits, and exciting catches, usually accompanied with cheering fans. These types of advertisements are just one of the many ways that sports television can appeal to the layman viewer. Now, here are some other ways that television programs have changed to attract a broader, less intense audience.
Now, adding on to where Logan left off, the continued push for a more layman audience extends far beyond the realm of sports. One of those such realms is reality TV. Layman at its core, the idea of reality TV, or radio, has been around forever. As Mark Andreevich talks about in his article, Reality Television, entertainment programming based on unscripted interactions of non-celebrities long predates television, dating back to radio shows such as one called Night Watch, which followed around California police officers and led to the creation of shows like Cops. The final point of his article I'd like to touch on is the non-celebrity aspect of what he was talking about. One of the main ways reality television has tried to attract a more layman crowd, aside from its overwhelming advertising now, is by breaking that old trend of having non-celebrities and creating reality shows based entirely around the lives of celebrities and their day-to-day activities. Aside from reality TV, another medium moving towards a more layman feel is our news. While there's obviously advertising, news stations can't rely on that as much as others, such as reality TV or sporting events. Instead, it feeds off of a sensationalized 24/7 news cycle, one dominated by talks of war, crime, and divisiveness. While I wouldn't classify this all as propaganda of sorts, I wanted to share the definition Antonio Lopez gives in his article, The Aesthetic Pleasures of War, as any organized or concerted effort or movement to spread a particular doctrine or system of doctrines or principles. I like this definition because it doesn't mention it as a negative or a positive, just what it is at its core. Though I stated not all of it is propaganda, some is, as detailed by CNN correspondent Christine Amanpour, stating, "The 24/7 news cycle hungers for a continual stream of war images, but they're presented with little or no context." She continues by concluding that television is self-referential, with ambient images of catastrophe, punctuated with sanitizing images of advertisements and car commercials. While Lopez's article talks heavily about war, I think today's politics in our political landscape have also crept into that area with the war mentioned in this article. Finally, This leads to a far more layman crowd because the lack of substance and added sensationalism gives it a far more reality TV-esque feel than educational news program, forcing the connoisseur viewer away to find other ways to take in news. Now we're going to show a few clips and talk briefly about them afterwards.
Actually, no. Let's start where I would start.
No matter, I'm righteous. I'm not gonna stand here, present some egghead scientific argument based on fact. I'm just a regular dude. I like to drink beer, you know? I love my family. Rock, flag, and eagle, right, Charlie? He's got a point.
No, he doesn't.
What? See, Charlie? These liberals are trying to assassinate my character. And I can't change their mind. I won't change my mind, because I don't have to. Because I'm an American.
Get off my towel! Get off my towel! God damn it! I seriously can't get a minute of peace! Why is it that people who don't have a Buddha box are always flipping Buddha boxes off the heads of people with anxiety? I got news for you, Cartman. Everyone has anxiety. Everyone gets nervous. Everyone is afraid being around people. Everyone has feelings they'd rather stay home alone. And you know what they do? They get over it. And they stop being a piece of shit.
It's not smoking, Peter. It's vaping. Everyone's doing it, even Darth Vapor.
I find your lack of vape disturbing.
Come on, Peter, give it a shot.
What happened? All of a sudden, I feel like I know better than everyone else.
That's because anytime someone walks through a cloud of vape smoke, a millennial is born.
I think I feel it. Broad City is so funny. No, Broad City is genius. No, Broad City is everything.
These three shows all represent the appeal to layman audiences. Let's start at the medium we're receiving these shows on. As McLuhan said, in the medium is the message. The way we send and receive information is more important than that information itself. We, as an audience, have become producers due to our ability to rate and critique on social media platforms. Therefore, the actual producers construct shows that appeal to laymen because it's easier to watch at any point in the show and harder to critique. Furthermore, in Pierre Bourdieu's book, On Television, he talks about how the news is manipulated by individual and industrial agendas. This can be related to TV shows with the layman audience. It is in the industry's favor to make shows in such a way due to their potential profit. Such shows are very easy to watch and easily likable.